I have come here to chew bubblegum and
resell.
And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Welcome to Matt's Profit Pursuit. I'm Matt. I'm a part-time reseller. I source the Goodwill bins and sell on eBay. I make what sold videos so you see what's selling on eBay and break down those sales to see how much is really made after fees, cost of goods, shipping, and taxes are taken out. And eBay is not dead. I got 15 more orders going out. Let's see what sold. First up is this Powerline Tour tee. When I first found it, I really did think it was some kind of older tee. Then once I looked it up, it's from like the Disney movie or the Disney movie, the Goofy movie or something. It's modern. It has a screen print tag there. It's kind of cool looking. I paid 34 cents for this shirt and it sold for $10.80, free shipping. The buyer is all in at $10.80, and after fees and shipping, I'm left with $4.73. Sold this lot of 4 shirts and a flannel, skateboard shirts. When I find skate shirts at the bins, they're usually size medium or size large. It's kind of normal. It's 13 to 16-year-old boys skateboarding, so it's kind of typical. This one's a DC shirt. This Vans long sleeve. This Element shirt. This Empire shirt. And the CCS flannel. I paid $4 for this lot of shirts and they sold for $20 plus shipping. The buyer is all in at $35.33, and after fees and shipping, I'm left with $16.81. None of those are real good on their own, but I do like selling skate stuff. Just kind of nostalgia for me. I used to skateboard, so if I can hook somebody up with a good, good selection like that, I'll do it. This pair of Athleta wide leg pants. I paid $1.35 for these pants and they sold for $29.99 plus shipping. The buyer is all in at $41.54, and after fees and shipping, I'm left with $26.33. This is a decent brand to look out for. 511 Tactical. As the name suggests, these are pants that are popular in the firearms community. I paid $1.75 for these and they sold for $22.49 plus shipping. The buyer is all in at $33.06, and after fees and shipping, I'm left with $16.20. This is a new brand for me. I do like selling jeans. They're pretty easy. They're easy to store and easy to ship. So I'll just grab brands that I don't know and I'll look them up at the end. These ones are okay. They're cut from the cloth. These aren't real high dollar, but they seem to sell pretty well. I paid $2 for these and they sold for $17.09 plus shipping. The buyer is all in at $28.18, and after fees and shipping, I'm left with $11.89. Another pair of jeans, Levi's 541s. I paid $2.10 for these jeans and they sold for $17.99 plus shipping. The buyer is all in at $32.15, and after fees and shipping, I'm left with $15.80. So Columbia Sportswear Oregon Ducks vest. I paid 80 cents for this vest and it sold for $9 plus shipping. The buyer is all in at $15.30, and after fees and shipping, I'm left with $6.58. And right now it's flannel season, so I've been picking up and listing some flannels. This is a Altamont, I think is how you pronounce it. I paid 95 cents for this flannel and it sold for $15 plus shipping. The buyer is all in at $21.89, and after fees and shipping, I'm left with $12.77. Even basic brands like Gap, I'll pick those up if the flannel looks good. People a lot of times want that red and black lumberjack, you know, traditional style. Or sometimes you find something like this and it has lots of embroidery and patches on it, things like that. So that's always worth looking up, because a lot of times if companies are willing to spend, you know, the money and time it takes to sew these on, and maybe worth some money. This one was okay. It's a Jack's brand flannel. I paid 67 cents for this flannel, and I had it for a while, so I took an offer of $10 plus shipping. The buyer is all in at $17.05, and after fees and shipping, I'm left with $8.17. And this one has pearl snaps. It's another thing that it'll let you know it's worth at least looking up and see if it's actually worth selling. So this pair of Saucony running spikes, I paid $1.21 for these spikes, and they sold for $14 plus shipping. The buyer is all in at $23.54, and after fees and shipping, I'm left with $7.34. Sold this lot of two like puzzle toys, or whatever you want to call it. Simon Swipe, and this one, what was it called? Brain Warp. I paid $1.35 for these, and they sold for $20 plus shipping. Now these sold at 50% off. That Brain Warp usually goes for around 35 bucks. The buyer is all in at $33.02, and after fees and shipping, I'm left with $17.39. So these Adidas, that seem pretty unassuming, but they have this Chile 62 on the side, and when I looked that up, that line of clothes does really well. These ones sold on sale, so somebody actually got a really good deal on these. I paid $2.75 for these shoes, and they sold for $50 plus shipping. I didn't realize till I started breaking down the numbers for this sale how much the buyer paid for shipping. I had my dimensions totally wrong on this, so they paid a lot, and I just went ahead and upgraded them to priority shipping, and that's probably why they didn't sell at full price. But the buyer is all in at $93.70, and after fees and shipping, I'm left with $51.56. I don't mind shipping bigger items for the most part. I think a lot of times stuff like this is a little bit too big for people to want to deal with. Ice skates or snow boots I do well with, and I find them often. I live pretty much at the base of Mount Hood, and I go to the bins in Portland, so that we're going to get lots of outdoors and snow gear and things like that. But these are Jackson leather ice skates. I paid $7.50 for these skates, and they sold for $107.99 plus shipping. The buyer is all in at $136.20, and after fees and shipping, I'm left with $75.34. And the last item I finally sold, I talked about this the other day in a video. If I didn't get the right price, I'd be willing to keep it, and I really like them, and they are right there. These Converse. These are vintage Converse. Pretty cool looking. For my size, I've worn them a few times. It's hard for me to keep things I don't need when I know they're worth a good amount of money. Yep, so these finally sold. Quick story about these. It was kind of cool how I found them. My daughter was with me at the bins, and we separate and we go look at the shoe bins. I have her go one way, I go the other way, and she comes back around to me to bring me some shoes, and she sees me looking at one of these, and she's like, "Oh, hey, I saw the other one of those." I'm like, "Go get it, quick!" Like, and she like ran over there and grabbed it. She's like, "Oh, I thought it was just beat up." I'm like, "It is, but these are good old shoes." So it's kind of cool that I was able to actually find both. I paid $3.25 for these, and they sold for $100 plus shipping. The buyer is all in at $123.65, and after fees and shipping, I'm left with $90.65. An easy way to tell vintage ones, or if they say made in USA on the insoles, there's a couple different versions of that, or on the very back of the shoe. A lot of times this gets worn out first, but you can see where it says made in USA. On mine, they have the blue tab versus the white tab. Another thing to look out for are the ones with the clear soles. These are a good collaboration that they had with John Varvatos. Don't know who that is, but they sell for a good amount. than any other kind of collab. Like these are some DC ones, some Riddler ones that I sold a while back. I would just look up any cool design that you see. And then finally the knee-high Converse have a really good sell-through rate for a good price. Now that spot looks pretty empty, so I'm going to have to replace it with these shoes. These are some Averex that I found a while ago. I had them up on, I actually have shelving up there. You can't see I have all my old radios up there. Some other randomness over there. So I had these up on that shelf for a while, but I'm going to put them over here now. I don't know if these are worth a whole lot, and these ones are, I don't think they're really wearable. They're super hard, but I don't know. They're kind of cool looking. And I actually do have one vintage Converse right there. Oh. It's not as old as the pair I sold, but that one is made in USA, and I only found one the day I was at the bins. So I'm like, I'm gonna keep it though. I want it. Also, check out this hat I found at the bins. Diamond Supply. It does okay. I'll buy that from time to time. It's like a skate streetwear brand. So I'll buy the shirts and they do okay. So I picked up this hat, didn't think nothing of it, just threw it in the cart. And once I got it home, I was about to list it, and I saw that cash rules everything around me. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool, Wu-Tang. And then I look, and I'm like, oh, there's like looks like a signature right here. And I'm like, Johnny, what does that say? And my thought after seeing that was Method Man, Johnny Blaze, right? Crane, cash rules everything around me. But it's actually Johnny Cash, and they actually did a tribute line to Johnny Cash. So that's why it says cash rules everything around me. So I'm like, oh, I gotta keep that one. So now let's actually break down these sales and see how much I really made, and let me know in the comments below. Is eBay really dead? Is it really? It's been doing well for me, and I hate saying that because I feel like the next video I'm gonna be like, I sold nothing. So I almost forgot to mention these glasses that I sold, but my little boys are playing in the background, so I'm just gonna do a voiceover. So these didn't look like anything special, but then I thought, you know, maybe I'll get them and I'll use a few keywords and see if they get some interest in them, and it actually worked. So number one, you're not allowed to sell prescription lenses, so I listed these as eyeglass frames, and somebody even messaged me and asked about the lenses, and I just didn't respond. And then a couple other keywords I used were Dwight Schrute and Jeffrey Dahmer. That's right, Jeffrey Dahmer. So I'm hoping somebody bought these to be Dwight for Halloween. I paid 35 cents for these, and they sold for $24.99 plus shipping. The buyer is all in at $32.41, and after fees and shipping, I'm left with $18.30. So that was probably the best weekend I've ever had, and I have a total sales of $642.14 for all those items, including what the buyer paid for shipping. After fees, I'm left with $379.86, minus the cost of goods, which was $30.37, and I'm left with $349.49. Take away 25% to put aside for taxes, which is $87.37. Then I'm left with $262.12. Then I want to invest 20% back into the business, which is $52.42, and that leaves me with $209.70 in my pocket. There's about 4 hours worth of work with these items between sourcing, listing, and shipping, so that gives me an hourly rate of $52.42 after all the fees and cost of goods and everything's taken out. Are we finally starting to ramp up for Q4? I hope so. Let me know in the comments below how you're doing. I'll catch you on the next one. God bless. Peace.